Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Drink and Think podcast.
You know, Jared, we got Netflix and chill, Disney Plus and thrust. You know, what is Hulu? Like, what does Hulu have to make it part of that gang? We need something to unite it.
Hulu needs something.
We don't know. If someone has a recommendation on what it should be called, please throw it out to us and we will make it the next trend.
So, welcome to the podcast. I'm Jared.
And I'm Adam.
So we'll just get right into it with that on Frankly, That's Just Your Opinion. So, talking about all these streaming services, how do you feel about cable and... You've already cut cable, haven't you?
Oh yeah, cable is well gone. Even though the service providers that we have kind of keep pushing cable onto us, but it's more of a online kind of cable. I mean, it's not as
online kind of cable.
Yeah, like you have to go through their website to get to it. So it's like what you would get on a cable.
So is it kind of like YouTube TV where you can stream live television and
still
stuff,
still have a like a guide where you can go and choose whichever channels you want.
But it's not actually a cable plug-in from the company.
No. And that's one of our segments is cable dying? Do you think it'll be here in 5 to 10 years? My take on it is that it's going to be well gone in the next 5 to 10 years. But then there's people, more or less the older generation, that's saying, oh yeah, no, it's definitely going to be around for another 30 more years because there's some things that are offered that aren't on like anything else.
Yeah, so. And I mean, that's the only reason that my family still has cable is because there's this show that me and my father watch that we both love and adore, but it's only offered on cable. At least to my knowledge, it is only offered on cable, and so that's the only reason that we have it. But I think I do have to agree with you that relatively soon all of that is going to be gone because we do have things like YouTube TV and we have all these stream we have Hulu and not all of it is live TV, but some of it is. And I think as that gets better and that streaming gets better and there's not the issue of buffering and all those connection issues. I think we'll see more of live television stuff go straight to the streaming services. Which,
I mean, I completely think would be the better, go-to for. I mean, that's just how our generation's doing is just going into it as more of online on their phones. Everything's automated. Why not?
Grab my charger real quick.
But, no, I totally agree. I can't say that we're going to be using cable in the next 5 to 10 years because...
But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I think it's for the better. What do you think?
Well, it depends because with cable going away, we're going to run into the issue now of only certain providers covering certain channels, so you're going to have to pay... even if it's let's say $10 for one streaming service, let's say they have 10 of your top, or they have 5 of your top 20 choices. There's 3 other companies that have the rest of the 5. You're going to end up paying almost as much as you did for cable for all of those different streaming platforms just so you can watch your top 20 favorite shows or, something similar to that.
But then you also have the option that what Disney Plus is doing is now that they are... What? So, for example, when you sign up for Disney Plus, you also get ESPN Plus.
Right.
And you get Spotify. So basically... Not Spotify. Sorry, Hulu.
Okay.
So, Hulu is partnering with Disney Plus.
And they're also a partner with Spotify at the same time.
But, I mean, at the same time, we're already dealing with buying different providers just to see certain things.
Right.
Because, I mean, for one, I'm not saying my opinion Netflix movies kind of suck at the current moment, but they're slowly getting better. Yeah, I mean they're slowly getting better, but like I forget it's the something 9. Ryan Reynolds is in it.
Oh,
6 Underground.
yeah, Six Underground. I watched that movie based on your recommendation.
That was awesome.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
It definitely has some plot twists and very, very gory, but I completely enjoyed it. And whenever they were like, yeah, it's just a Netflix movie, and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, that's one of the things that I've at least heard of is Netflix is trying to move towards being basically an all original platform. They're trying to have all of their own content and stuff, which there's a lot of Netflix specials and other things, but they're going to be moving towards that, and so we're seeing more of those one-off movies or those one-off series. Like, for instance, I don't know if you've watched it yet, but The Witcher is out on Netflix, and that is, and again, this is just my opinion. Again, we're under the segment of frankly, that's just your opinion. But I love The Witcher. It is just like, you have to accept the fact that it's a fantasy world and there's going to be gore and fighting and stuff. But once you accept that, it is such a great storyline. And I've heard some critics of it say that they don't like it because there's this whole sequence of it jumping around from different timelines. And yeah, at first glance, when you first watch it, it's hard to keep all that together if you don't already know that that's what's happening. But the characters, the actors that are in it are so great. Like, just the storyline is great. The monsters and the fighting sequences, like, all of it is just top-notch quality in my opinion.
From what I've witnessed, I've heard people of all ages, they're saying this is actually a really good series. Mm-hmm. And even from you, I mean, you've been saying that I should watch it, but at the same time, I keep forgetting that it's out there, but I keep hearing these good reviews, or like these people talking about, oh yeah, this is really good, and so I need to go and check it out. Yeah. But what's it offered on?
It's offered on Netflix. It's a Netflix special, so they're the only ones that offer it. And that's what I was kind of like getting at, was that something like this, where I love and adore The Witcher, is only offered on Netflix. But Netflix doesn't have as many Marvel movies that I love, so therefore I have to get Disney Plus, and so that's an extra cost that I have to include in my budget.
And yeah, I mean, good news is that Disney Plus isn't too terribly much.
Neither of them are that expensive, but the fact is that like they're going to each service is going to start offering stuff that is exclusive only to their platform, and I want to watch it, or I want to, partake in whatever it is, but I don't necessarily want to pay for all of that for each platform.
Which, do you think that if every service should offer a portion of, like, for example, if you only like to watch movies, then, like, do you think you should only pay for movies? Or if, like, so if you only watch shows, you only want to pay for shows. Like, for example, whenever I bought Disney Plus, it was solely for Marvel.
Right.
But, like, on top of that, there are other things that they kind of draw you in and be like, oh, yeah, you should watch this. Like,
like suggestions of like, oh, watch this, or you liked this show, you might like this movie or this show.
For example, like Marvel, like whenever you run out of all the movies that you watched on there, you're like,
you really watch all of the movies?
I got a couple more, but I keep watching the same ones over and over. But
they're gonna say you were gonna have a sad life if you were gonna watch.
Huge Captain Marvel fan, so I watch all the Captain America. Captain America. Yeah.
Wow, you were gonna catch so much flack and shit for mixing those two up. I hope you're ready for that.
Well, I like both of them, so I mean.
Yeah, but they're not the same character.
No, but they both have some really high morals. But I mean, Captain America has a lot bigger morals. He's an older feller, so
He was on ice for 70 plus years. You tell me how you would feel after being in the cold for 70 years.
No, I don't think he really cares. He's still kicking
Still
ass.
Captain
taking
America.
names. But anywho, yeah, mixing him up. Sorry for that. And apologies. But will say I watched all the Captain Americas, and yes, there's only one Captain Marvel, so I watched that too. Love it.
I'm never gonna let you have that down.
Oh, I know. But anywho, so but whenever I was done watching those, and even me, a huge Marvel fanatic like Jared and I, but you kind of look to see what else they offer, and then, for example, whenever they come out to Frozen 2 on there, I'm so gonna watch it. Well, Brandy and I want to watch it, so whenever
Wait. You want to watch it, or she wants you to want to watch it?
we both actually want to watch it. I've heard
You want to watch it?
there's a reason why I want to watch it.
Okay.
And that is people are like saying that it's a different take. And even older
What do you mean a different take? Different take on the first movie?
Oh, I don't know. They just said it's a different take. I was like, okay.
What?
Same thing with that. No,
What?
I asked, I was like, what do you mean a different take? And they're just like, well, it's very different compared to the first one. It's
Okay,
like, is that a
but-
good different? But apparently their singing's better and everything else is good.
Well, regardless of that, when I saw the trailers for it, because I was forced to watch trailers from ads and stuff on YouTube, when I saw the trailer for Frozen 2, the only thing that I could ever think of when I saw that was, where the hell is the storyline? What the hell is the plot?
Well, that's
Because it didn't seem like there was
I
one. They
think-
showed nothing.
I think that was part of the reason. Like, they were trying to leave it for a cliffhanger, but they don't know. Like, they didn't want to give too much away.
I mean, I appreciate
But they
that
didn't-
to a
they
certain
didn't
extent,
give
but then
anything.
yeah, you don't tell me, like, it would literally just look like random still shots of them at different places in the world. Like, that's not a story. That's just an adventure.
Yeah. But then they finally came out with a better one where it was actually they gave a little bit of a backstory so you could
Oh.
actually see what.
Okay, well,
going
I
on?
didn't. I must have not seen that one because when
Well-
I first saw that original teaser or trailer, I was like, "There's no way in hell that I will go see this because there's no. It doesn't seem like there's any story or plot line to it."
And I was thinking the exact same thing, but here I am wanting to see it.
I still feel like Brady forced you into wanting to
No,
watch
I
it.
actually want to see it just because of what other people have said about it. I mean, other people that normally don't even watch this kind of stuff actually watched it, and I was like, okay. I mean, how was it? And they're like, oh, it's really good, and they liked the second one better than the first one. But
I struggle with the first one though as well. I just not. You would. The crazy thing is you would think I would be really into big Disney movies because I grew up with 7 female cousins that are all around the same age, and they were obsessed with like Disney animated movies. But I, for some reason or another, can't stand them. I'll watch one every once in a while. Like, don't get me wrong, Moana was great.
I love that.
Moana was a great Disney princess movie, but again, it was my favorite Disney animated movie based solely because of The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and like the funny factors and stuff that he brought into it. Like, I don't. I struggle when it comes to
But,
watching those types
Okay,
of movies.
now that you mentioned Moana, did you know that Rock was watching it with his daughter?
Yeah.
And then he started doing his part, and she was like, "You're
Stop-
ruining the movie."
Stop singing. You're ruining it. I can't hear him. I can't remember the character's name, but The Rock plays a character in Moana, and The Rock actually does the singing in the movie, and his daughter was like, "You're ruining it. I can't hear him sing." It's like, that's him singing. That's him in real life singing.
I don't think she realized that though.
Well, I mean, she's really young. She probably wouldn't really.
Are you
Oh, it was Maui.
Maui.
It was- yeah, that was the character's name.
There
that
we go.
The Rock played.
That was gonna
But-
bug me if I didn't figure that out.
But yeah, that's so funny. But like, I like that because of the person that's in it. Frozen, don't know any of the actors in there. They don't get me wrong, they sing well, and I wish I could sing at their level, but there's nothing there is nothing enticing to me about those.
I sound like a
movies.
screeching wish, JK. No,
you do, even when you're talking.
It's alright. But anyways, the whole aspect of we gotta get back on track is cable. It seemed how you said The Witcher was only offered on
Netflix, not anywhere
but
else.
Like, that's the whole goal is like
for them to have their own stuff and to
draw you into other things that they offer. I mean, I feel like just because you buy a service, I mean, I feel like you should still have the freedom to only buy what you are using, but at the same time, as a business aspect, I mean, it'd be...
So you talking like you only... So in the same way with like Amazon movie stuff, like you only pay... Like you pay for the service and it's cheap. It's like relatively cheap. And then you only pay for the stuff that you actually want to watch. Is that what you're talking about? Like that's what you want?
Yeah. I feel like that'd be good. I mean, I get it that once you... run out of stuff to do or to watch, and you're kind of screwed, and then they're trying to draw you into their other service, which it could be making so much more money, but at the same time, that's really hard to pull people in.
Yeah.
But I still feel like if you pay for at least what you want to watch and not shows, then you should be good. Like, at least break it down to, do you want to watch movies or shows? Because I know Brandy likes shows compared to me liking movies. I mean, we haven't been so on top of it lately, but eventually
we get busy and stuff.
Eventually we'd like to do little short segments on like movie reviews. Mm-hmm. I mean, we'd like to hear what you guys think about that, but from there because we love movies, so.
Well, but then there's also like. Some people, again, sort of like your girlfriend, can only hold their attention on something like that for like an hour or so or 45 minutes, which is why there are a lot of shows that have, Netflix shows or Hulu shows that are only broken down into 30, 45 minute length videos so that you can move on to the next plot and the storyline or whatever so that you can get a hold of it and understand it. But then there's people like us that love just capturing a whole story within a 3-hour period.
So like
2-3 hours.
Whenever shows go out and they're done, like they run into the end of the season, mm-hmm. they always leave it on a cliffhanger, which is good. But the same part is that they take almost like a full year between putting out the next season or whatever. Exactly. Yeah. Like at least with a movie you have that full storyline, and then by the end of it it's like either concluded or it does leave onto a cliffhanger, but that cliffhanger is even more precious, I feel like. It's not like, oh, is there going to be another season? At least with a movie, you don't know if it's going to be a next movie. Like for Divergent, I was a big fan. I don't know why, but I was. And then next thing you know they get to the very last movie, and then they're just like, oh, yeah, we're just going to call quits. No, that pisses me off. Please make the next movie. But no, I think the actors kind of gave... And then they made it a show. That's why they...
made it a show?
Yeah, they made it the last portion into a show, and all the original characters quit because they didn't want to make it into a show. Because they saw that the movie itself wasn't making enough money, but they thought that the show would actually...
into a show.
Which turns out, if I'm not mistaken, turned out to be a disaster when they made it into a show. It got even worse.
Well, that's just what happens whenever you change. I feel like, or at least I feel that that's what happens whenever you change style format.
It also changed all the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why couldn't you just make the last movie and be like, all right, we only made this much money on this one, and the actors get all their money and whatnot. The director gets their money. I mean, it might not be as much money, but like it's still.
But they're still making
millions.
a decent amount of money. Excuse me. But yeah. don't feel that it's quite, and I feel like eventually we'll get to the point where all these streaming platforms, getting back on topic, is I feel that eventually there'll be just one localized company that offers like a bundle package. Like
Which
you
would
get,
be
like you get Disney Plus, you get Netflix, you get Hulu, all under one company.
But
Like it could probably be like your Wi-Fi provider or something like that.
Yeah, it actually might.
Internet
I mean, they're slowly doing that right now, but I feel like companies like Disney and then Hulu are gonna feel like they're getting kind of scammed because then they're probably not getting the full benefits. Because I guarantee you that Hulu will give providers that do that like a financial advantage compared to people that just buy it straight up. But I agree. I completely think that they're going to go to a overgeneralized kind of
where one person holds all the power, essentially. Yeah. But we should probably move on to our next topic, which is FitFest.
Ooh. Let's go with the whole aspect of, do you think that you should not, or more or less, warm up before going in? Because I will say that whenever I took not an athletic trainer, but like a personal trainer, and be like, hey, I got a free evaluation kind of thing, where you get a free whole just lesson with them, and they asked what kind of muscle group that you wanted to do and whatnot, and I said back because I wanted to, because that was a point where Jared over here was saying, hey, we need to grow these wings on our backs.
I want to get a big back is my thing,
and we call it wings, so we're trying to get our wings pretty big. And so at that time I was like, hey, let's try and get big arm or big back. So next thing you know, I told him, I was like, hey, we're doing back. And so he was the first one that he's ever told me, he's like, all right, go like jog or / run on the treadmill. And I was like, why is that? He's like, well, you need to warm up your heart rate and your muscles so that you can actually eventually, like, so you don't hurt yourself, so you're not starting cold. All I've ever done was start cold, and therefore, I mean, I'm probably creating a prone air down the road where I'm just going to get hurt more often or not. So, but on top of that, I feel like it's definitely going to hurt me in the long run. But so, what's your thoughts on the whole aspect of warming up? Because like, there are some people that give more time to warm up. Like, should you warm 5 to 10 minutes? I know the personal trainer said that I should warm up for at least 5 minutes until I get my heart rate above like 150 for a second, and then go.
Yeah, and I mean the personal trainer that you saw, who was not me, isn't necessarily wrong. It's very specific to the individual and also very specific to the type of thing that you are doing. So, for instance, I run track and field. That is a primarily heavy lung, endurance, heart, leg, which is all large muscle groups. Your lungs aren't muscles, but they're part of your system in order to function. That requires a lot of warm up, because in order to get a good workout in for running and doing all the things that come with track and field, you have to be warm enough to do it. And so you have to warm up properly, which takes a while, which is intense. Like, our warm-ups are almost half of our practice time, just because you have to warm up enough to not get hurt and not get injured. Now let's take it on the other side. If you're just lifting and stuff, you still need to warm up, but the way you go about doing that doesn't always have to be running or jogging. What essentially needs to happen is that you need to get, like your personal trainer said, you need to get your heart rate up so that the blood is flowing and that your body recognizes that it's in a state of not bad distress, but distress in general, where it needs to be able to recover, where it needs to utilize stored nutrients and stuff to fuel your body. So if you get your heart rate up, then it's going to realize that. So you literally could warm up by, let's say you're squatting. Let's say you want to do 3 sets of 4 or 5, like you want to go heavy. If you put on, let's say normally for a heavy set of that, you do, I don't know, 315 or 405, like something pretty heavy.
Yeah.
If you start off with doing like 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps at like 135 or something, that could be a warm-up. As long as your heart rate is getting up there and that it's starting to get more and more intense. It shouldn't be that you wear yourself out before you get to that big stuff, but as long as your heart rate's up, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Because that's the main thing, is you got to make sure that, it's not that you could like get a heart attack or something if you're starting off cold, but if you don't get the blood flowing, the blood is not getting to the muscles, which the blood supplies the muscles with nutrients and prevents cramps and, tears and rips and stuff, because it's actively moving waste out, putting nutrients in. Like, it's a very complicated system, but as long as your heart rate and your blood flow is up there, then you should be totally fine. But you got to make sure that you're doing that.
Yeah.
It could be 2 minutes of rock climbing, or it could be 2 minutes of something really intense, or it could be 10-15 minutes of walking if that's all you can do because you have an injury or something. But the intensity and time are correlated in a way that they're going to affect your heart rate in different ways, so you just have to adjust based on how intense you're going and how long you're doing it.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, but it's just, again, you're not completely wrong on that, but you just have to, again, listen to your body. That's one thing I would stress over and over again, and then I probably will stress throughout multiple podcasts, is listen to your body.
Body knows exactly what. Now, not more or less the listen to what your mind thinks, but listen to what your body says.
Oh my gosh,
there's a difference. Because, if you are not mentally tough, you can't push as much weight as you think you could.
Oh, absolutely not.
So, regardless, you could think that you're really not, you physically can't move it, but like what you guys put me in the situation 2 or 3 years ago, which is a good learning lesson, is that
that's a kind way of putting it.
It is. It has taught me perspective. So, for example, whenever we first started lifting, or they were teaching me how to lift properly and how to actually gain muscle and whatnot, they would put some weight on, and I'd be like, I don't know if I could do it, and they were like, oh no, you can do it. Trust me, just mind over body. And at the time, I was like, okay, I can do that, but I wasn't actually doing mind over body. I was still doing more mind. You still had body.
A lot of doubt in your mind that you couldn't do it.
Exactly. And then whenever you guys were like, just to give you a heads up, we're not going to lift the weight if you fail. You're going to...
we'll help you if you look like you're collapsing or gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to lift the weight up if you're still safe enough to do it.
And at the time, it makes it look like, oh God, you're gonna die at that point. But once you get over that and you actually know, this weight's not gonna move itself. You finally realize how much you can physically do, not mentally do. You can mentally do very little. You can physically do a lot.
Whenever you're mentally strong.
As long as you don't go over physical. There's a mental aspect of it. The mental aspect of it is where you don't actually strain too hard, because there are people that tear pec muscles, which
oh yeah
puts you which I know Logan said this earlier, but then he finally realized how awful that is that he's like, dude, I've always wanted to tear a pec muscle. And I was like, why?
Why would you ever want to do that?
He's like, I know I'd be out for a couple months. I was like, dude, you won't just be out for a couple months.
Yeah.
You will be back to like ground zero of like next to nothing. You'll be doing baby weights, and that'll actually be hard for you. And then he was like, yeah, but it looks cool. I'm like,
how does it look? Okay, so turning a different color and being in a cast looks cool.
Well, he said that it would definitely turn some eyes, which I'm giving him.
Yeah, it would turn eyes because they're thinking, what the hell did you do, or what is wrong with you?
Well, now he has the actual like the mental aspect of, well, if I die at the gym, just put a couple weights on. He's like, don't. If I collapse and I pass out, wait till I die before calling the ambulance, and then put another like 45 pounds on it. I was like,
make it look like he's actually doing something hard.
Yeah, he's doing something hard. Just he wants to look even more tough.
Right. Which
that's it. But that's where we get to the.
But
be smart about it.
Well, and like I still don't get how tearing a muscle looks cool.
Well, to be honest, some people think, oh yeah, if you tore it, you put some hard effort in. Which it is.
Right.
Give it. Like,
you see it in the person might see it in the moment and think, damn, that person's like really trying hard, and that it wasn't their fault. But that's a singular moment in time. It's not like you're not gaining any long-term benefits or effects.
Well, the way I look at it is like if you're playing baseball and you get smoked by a pitch, you're out. Like you could be out for like a month or two.
It depends on where it hits you. You could die.
Yeah, well, let's for sake of argument, like
hit
right
in the thigh,
or arm. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're gonna be like, yeah, I took that 90-mile-an-hour pitch, and it's like, oh yeah, it hurts, and I can't do much for. But at the same time, it's like, dang, I feel like that's kind of the look at it.
So you're saying it's basically like chicks dig scars.
Yeah.
Like the old mantra, chicks dig scars.
Yeah, I take it. It could be like that.
Which, I don't know if that's quite true. None of the girls that I've ever talked to have been like, you have any scars that I can look at?
Like, ooh, what's that? I'd be like, yeah, I got clawed by a bear.
I mean, maybe if you have a good story behind it, like, yeah, I fought off, like, 7 attackers or something at once and, pounded them all into death. I could maybe see that happening, but when do you ever get a scar that is that cool? You know what my scars are from? Getting cut by a tree or something. Or a branch. Or something.
Cat.
Or, yeah. Like, my dog has scratched me up multiple times. That's not impressive. That's not cool.
Be like, yeah, I can't move my hand, but no. Anyways, but it does. I don't know. It depends on, I guess, who you're trying to impress. Because at the gym, it's not like you're truly impressing other chicks. If you're a guy, it's inadvertently gonna impress other guys. It like you want to impress chicks, but other chicks that are at the gym or other words are like it's gonna be really hard to impress.
I feel like 90% of the time, the reason guys start and I don't know if this is true. This is just based on my opinion, but we're at a different topic.
It's alright.
But it's still related. But I think 90% of guys that go to the gym or start going to the gym is because they want to look good. I should say single guys, or maybe even taken
I hope
guys.
not.
But they want to look good in front of women, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I also feel like 100% of the time, those 90% of the guys just end up not caring what the girls think and only care about impressing to the other guys that they lift with or the other guys in the gym.
I can honestly say that whenever... I mean,
don't get me wrong. There will be instances where I've, been on a beach or something and, a girl has noticed that, oh, hey, this guy works out a bunch and, has a lot of muscle and is attractive. But the proportion of that happening to guys being like, "Yo, bro, how much you lift?" Or like, "Give me some advice."
Could you imagine being on the beach and some guy's like, "Hey, by the way, how much do you lift?
How much do you lift? Like,
how much do you deadlift? My God, those calves."
So many more times is it me talking to another guy about fitness or looks and stuff than it is a girl complimenting me on it. But I initially wanted. Well, I say initially. Part of me getting into my fitness journey was that I wanted to look good and I wanted to feel good being shirtless.
Yeah.
And that is a big factor or big motivator, I think, for a lot of people. But it can be your primary motivation, but I don't think it should be your only motivation.
Well, I mean, I will say when I first started to lift with you guys, it was not just to get healthy. Mm-hmm. It was more or less trying to impress other people.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been other girls, but like whenever you realize the actual health benefits of it, it kind of takes the feeling of trying to impress other girls. And then it really helps once you're not single, that you're just like, yeah, I'm just trying to lift as much weight and be as like aesthetic as you can. Yeah. I mean, that's my goal, is to get aesthetic. So I mean, it's kind of
right. And that was like a big thing for me, was that, again, I wanted to do well in sports, so that was part of the motivation. Then I also wanted to look good and feel good because of it. But then once I started seeing results, it just became like an addiction.
It is such an addiction. Once you get started, it's kind of hard to stop. So like, if there's any viewers out there or like anyone listening in on this and they haven't worked out and they want to, just go and start. I mean, at first you won't see anything, because trust me, you won't see anything for...
It takes a while.
It takes a decent amount of time. You won't see anything, but once you see something change, like Jared said, it is so addicting. You will just continue going on and on and on until you finally... Okay, let's be honest. You will never get to the end. It's one of those...
No.
It's one of those that you will continually keep going.
Yeah.
And if you found where you want to be and you're like, I'm comfortable at this, you haven't met your goal yet.
No.
If you have met your goal,
then you haven't done enough self-reflection
or make a new goal. Goals are not meant to be where you stop. It's where you keep going.
Right. And like, I would say I don't know if I'm very, but I am pretty athletic, pretty built, have a lot of muscle stuff. But I still want to like put on more. Like, there's a goal I have in mind, and like, regardless, like, my goal is to like, essentially, once I'm done running track and field, is to get up to like 185, 190 of just like solid muscle. But I know for a fact, whenever I get to that goal, if I reach that goal, I'm gonna be like, ooh, I bet my shoulders could be a little bit bigger, or I bet my quad muscles could show a little bit more, and so I'll do that. And like, I'll just nitpick here and there of like, here's this thing that I want to try to fix, or I want to get better at, or I want to, get to show
something
better.
Different, a better, like anything.
There's just something that I wouldn't say it's not that I'm not satisfied with my body, because I'm very pleased with like the way I look and the way I feel, and how healthy I am. But there's still, like, there's never quite a full satisfaction. I think part of that is because this is a body issue image that I have, but it's not necessarily a completely bad issue.
Agreed. It's never going to be a total, like, just, like, seeing the body and be like, well, it's not a pleasing factor. I mean, there's going to be other aspects. Like you said, there's always something.
Right.
Something different. Now, it may vary person to person, but it's just going to be, but I don't know.
Right. And again, whatever you need to do to make yourself feel good and stay healthy, just do whatever that is. That's the thing, is like, I hear so many things about people like, oh, like, don't shame people who are overweight, or don't shame people who are very skinny. And I don't think you should shame anybody for anything. I think what the concern should be is not based on appearance. It should be based on internal health.
I agree. Camera just went out. All right. So
on our last topic, which is what the duck, you brought up something that kind of blew my mind, and I don't know if it's necessarily true, but you said something that
you lose 40 minutes of your day every day because your mind subconsciously like kind of switches over, like whenever you move your eyes left to right or up and down or anywhere from its current position until it gets to its final position. It like your brain subconsciously just kind of like blocks it out. So it is so like your brain's so good at it that just you don't realize it. But
or remember it, or
but that's the thing. How did someone figure this out?
Like where did you see this, or where did you like read it?
On some medical like terminology kind of website. I was just like browsing the internet and I ran over it, and then I looked it up, and it's supposedly true. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, how do you do that? How
that blows my mind, because and I guess that doesn't necessarily blow my mind, because I read something or I heard something the other day, and I again not sure if it's true or not, but have you ever had a surgery where you've been put under under anesthesia?
Yeah.
So they tell you to like count down or count backwards from 10 or something, or whatever it is.
Mine was 3, where they count down from I think it was 4. They were like, all right, start at 4 and count down, and I think I made it to 2.
And then you just out like a light.
The second time that they were putting me under, I was like, you're not gonna knock me out. And as soon as I finished the sentence, I was like, you're not gonna knock. And then whenever I woke up, I was like, me out. And they were like, I finished
the sentence that you had said before you went under anesthesia.
Yes. Like, I passed out.
Oh my!
And then when I woke up, I finished the ending of the sentence.
You have to be lying.
I am 100%. My mom was just like, "What do you mean? Like, you're not gonna like me out? Like, what do you mean me out?" And I was like, "What?" And that's when I was all loopy.
You look like a crazy person just yelling out, "Me out, me out."
It sounds like a cat meow.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of,
but I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense though, because from the reason I brought that up was because from what I remember hearing, and again, not sure if it's true or not, but what I remember is that apparently you are awake the entire time that you're actually under anesthesia. But what happens is that the drug that is in the anesthesia prevents your mind from forming memories. Like, it is an active like memory inhibitor. So you're like really awake the entire time, but there's no connection between any sense stimulation, whether it be sight, hearing, feel, whatever. There's none of that.
I feel like
that just comes into the memory.
Well, I feel like it just blocks it so you don't feel any pain, you don't do anything. Mm-hmm. But like at the same time, it's like that. I don't know if it's just blocking memories. I feel like it's like when you get punched in the face. It's not like you're not, or I'm not saying punched in the face. If you get knocked out by someone while fighting, I can't say I can say that I've ever got knocked out by someone.
Yeah, thankfully
fighting with someone, but like it's not stopping you making memories. I don't know how.
Well, but that would, if it's true, that would make sense though, because the fact that you yelled out "me out" after you had woken up, then your memory kicks back in as soon as that drug has worn off.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think that's just condoning. I think because I know that when you get knocked out, either like anything, like if you go in a car wreck and you accidentally get knocked out whenever you get in a wreck, It's not that there's a chemical in your brain that physically, like getting knocked out, not like protects your brain from some sort of like injury whenever you're doing that. So I feel like they're doing the same thing except they're just introducing that drug.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I don't know how I feel about the whole it just like blocks
out your memory.
Because I mean, like whenever you get knocked out, your eyes and everything is just like you close your eyes. It's not like
but then again, you don't ever remember closing your eyes because you're counting and all of a sudden you wake back up.
Yeah, but it makes your body go basically limp. Therefore,
so it could affect. Well, again, that could just be affecting your central nervous system.
Exactly.
Like
but
it could attack. Not attack. It could prevent you from forming memories, and at the same time also prevent you from using your central nervous system to use your muscles or send electrical impulses.
But I don't know. I don't know if it's just me just thinking of it like that, but I don't see how it can just... I guess it's the same essential thing if you get knocked out and it just kind of like your brain just sends some kind of wave that just makes you go limp and everything so that you don't feel anything or it like protects you and all. But like that's... I don't know. Because... I know that I've heard where if you're in a coma, you can still remember.
You can still like hear things, or like people have said that like when they've come out of a coma that they've heard what everybody has said and stuff. Like I've also heard that same thing.
Yeah, I feel like Morgan when we were back in the day, where she would pass out. I mean, she could still hear and like have feelings while she was like unconscious. Though. Yeah. Because I mean, I don't know what, but maybe that is so correct. Then anesthesia maybe could be like blocking, a similar thing. But like at the same time, I mean, it's not. I feel like when you're awake, it's like eyes open, but it's not always the case. So I mean, I guess it does block memories. It's just weird to think of it as that. I mean,
I just can't get over the fact that you yelled out meow as soon as you woke up.
And then after that, I was under some heavy stuff, and I was just like, oh.
I remember I used to date this girl, and she was put under to get her tonsils removed, or is either her tonsils or her wisdom teeth taken out. Whenever she woke up, I don't talk to her anymore, but whenever she woke up, she kept saying, and her mom had to tell me this, but whenever she woke up, she kept saying, I want animal crackers. And she was like, no, I don't want these animal crackers. I want the elephant. I want the elephant animal crackers because this one has its trunk ripped off. And I'm just like, watching people come out from anesthesia or any type of surgery like that, or even like laughing gas, I think is so funny to watch because I've never had anything like that happen. Like I've had surgeries and I've been knocked out, but I don't have any funny stories to tell from them. There's nothing funny that happened.
Definitely different. That's all I'll say. It's not anything exciting, but it's definitely different. I'll give you that. But
have you had your wisdom teeth taken out?
Yeah.
Oh.
Definitely had my wisdom teeth taken out, but.
And do you have the video of you talking about random crap after that?
I don't know. It'd be random. No, it was definitely random. What am I kidding? It's definitely random. I was basically throwing punches at my face because I was like, oh, I can't feel anything. Oh, look at me. I could be an MMA fighter. I remember saying that. I was like, I could be an MMA fighter.
Now that you say that, that reminds me. I actually did do something really funny and stupid when I was put under. So I had surgery on my wrist because I had cysts in there.
Oof.
And on one of them, they put a nerve block in so that I couldn't feel it. And then they also put me under, which that doesn't quite make sense why they did that, because usually it's either or. But regardless, I was knocked out. They put a nerve block in. So eventually I woke up, but the nerve block hadn't worn off. So, like, I had one functioning arm and one arm in a sleeve because I couldn't, it was no nerve impulses could get to it. And I don't remember getting home, but I remember waking up from a nap after the surgery, and I couldn't feel my arm, and I was like, this is weird, and I couldn't remember that I had surgery. But all I could think of was, this is really weird. And I sleep on my side, so when I rolled over, my arm flopped over. And for some reason, I thought it was the funniest damn thing when I would roll from side to side and flop my arm across my body. And I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I could not figure out why. And eventually I woke up and I was on my side and I was like, wait, what the hell did I just do?
Oh, speaking of, I was talking about this to my other, like, with my family. I was like, hey, have you ever had the moment where you, like, wake up? And apparently, so, whenever you go fall asleep at night, there's apparently some kind of chemical that gets released in your brain where it basically has it not, paralyze you, but, like...
It prevents you from, like, acting out your dreams and stuff.
And, yeah, like, moving and whatnot. Right. Well, occasionally, because I had to, look this up because it absolutely terrified me. But occasionally, you will wake up, and then you cannot move anything.
Oh, sleep. You're talking about sleep paralysis.
Yes.
That stuff is scary, bro.
Yeah, because, like, I woke up, and I was like...
Did you see somebody in your room? I can't talk. Did you see somebody in your room?
Why?
So I had sleep paralysis once.
I did. No, I did. That's what's terrifying. Yes. Because I thought I saw something, some figure, something. And
Wait. Did it have red eyes?
Yes.
Was it a big black figure in the corner of your room?
Yes.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Apparently that's what happens in general whenever you have sleep paralysis.
That's terrifying. How'd you know? Oh my god.
Because it's happened to me.
That is, well,
Whenever I woke up, I was laying in my bed and I couldn't move and I couldn't speak, but I could think, but I couldn't say anything and I couldn't do anything. But all I could do was look and see out of the corner of my eye what looked like a figure in my room that was probably 6'4", almost like
it was tall,
anywhere between 6 and 7 feet.
Agreed.
And
oh my gosh,
it had like
terrifying me.
Not like square eyes, but like kind of squarish, like block, like
yes!
squinty eyes. And it was in the corner of my room, and I was freaking out. But I remember I was like, oh wait, this is what you, because I had read about it beforehand.
Oh, I definitely did.
I read about that it was sleep paralysis, and I was like, calm down, it's nothing, it's just sleep paralysis, and then I fell right back asleep.
No, this was whenever I was waking up. And the weird part was, I could move my head. Like,
you could move your head? See, I couldn't move my head.
See,
I could only move my eyes.
Dude, that terrified me. The fact that you brought that up, and it was so particular to the situation.
So descriptive.
Dude, that has to be real. Like, there's no way, because oh my gosh, because I can move my head. I couldn't talk, but I was like
freaking out internally.
My heart rate I could feel my heart rate. It's like, oh my god, there is something in the corner. I can't move. Oh my god, I thought I was dead or something.
It's only ever happened to me once, but I still remember it like it was yesterday.
I don't ever want it again.
Well, I'm not going to guarantee that it won't happen again.
I'm not. hoping I don't see it, but at the same time.
But yeah, apparently that is what happens. Is like most people see that sort of thing as they see a tall black figure with apparently red eyes. And I don't know if I saw that because I had read up on it before having it happen to me.
Demon.
But I have seen it was something like this. He's sorry for our audio listeners. He's pulling up a picture of a sleep paralysis demon, and yes, it was like that one.
It looked
where
like this.
where there's a
square
figure,
eyes, dude.
squarish
It's so
eyes,
close.
and it has this circular like you can't. There's no hair. It's just like it looks like a legit alien or like something out of a nightmare.
It is terrifying. My gosh, this is
But,
so
yeah.
close to it, and there is legit.
But like as soon as I tried to focus on it, it went away.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine, I was fixated on it. It wouldn't go away. I was just like, oh my god. I mean, I would turn my head side to side and then
Try to move.
and I couldn't, and I was just like, dude, it's still there. And eventually, I like looked left to my right. I'm like, maybe if I don't look at it, it'll go away. And
yeah, because
finally-
that's how it works in every scary horror movie ever. If I don't look at the damn thing, it's not there.
But then finally, when I moved, like could move, I was like, I looked back where it was, like slowly. And I was like, it's gone. Oh, dude, that's so scary.
Yeah. So that's what happens when you get sleep paralysis, and it's one of the most terrifying things that you could probably ever. Not one of the most, but it's definitely a terrifying thing that you could have happen.
There's nothing you can do about it. It's just
And
you're
I don't
freaking
know.
out.
I don't know if it's just me being like I grew up with a lot of like my dad went all out when it came to like Halloween decorations and like scary stuff. Like I never really got into scary movies. Like he wasn't big into scary movies, but he was always big into Halloween and like all the like mythical stuff and the demons and creatures and just like because it seemed kind of cool. And so I grew up with that. So I don't know if it was just me growing up with that, but I wasn't like as terrified as you were.
Well,
I was like,
well, I think it helps that you were actually reading it.
like I had read
Like
up
you
on
read
it
up it before.
beforehand.
I mean, like now, I feel like it'd be a little bit better, but I feel like I'll still be freaking
Like
out.
I panicked for a good like maybe 20-30 seconds where I was like, what the fuck is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? And like I was freaking out. And then
I didn't
like
know
I don't know if it was just like my body was waking up more or the rational part of my brain kicked in, but I was just like, oh, that's not real.
Well, okay. Here's an interesting thought. What if it is real? It's just like.
What do you mean? What if it's real? There's not an actual figure in your room.
No, not actually in the room, but mentally, like it's there.
What do you mean?
Like
mentally, just mentally.
Well, I'm just saying, like if everyone can see this, is it possible that it's like actually there, but not physically in your room? Like, what if it's just like almost?
I still don't understand what you mean by.
Well, okay. What I'm getting at is like if there is more than like one occurrence of this, it's not. At that point, it's not just like, oh, you're seeing it kind of thing. It's like it's part of like this feeling. What if it's like not more or less real, but what if it? Okay, what I'm getting at is what if it is real? It's just like it's kind of weird to like describe.
Well, I think maybe, and like I'm one of those people that's like not.
Yeah, we discussed it.
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe in like ghosts in the sense of like control things or whatever, but
I feel like
I wonder if it's just like because there's always stuff floating around in the fluid layer of your eyes and stuff, and like I wonder if that combination with stuff that is in your mind and like all the chemicals and stuff, if they create that, because the fact that we both saw the same thing and many other people have seen the same thing, I feel like it's has to be something of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that try. Well, there's people that are explaining as to why it might occur. But I mean, I'm not dismissing it as like, oh, it's definitely a hallucination.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm not passing it up as like, what if it is real, but we can't explain it?
Right.
Because there is so much that we cannot explain. But at the same time, I mean, you can't dismiss that it's not fake. But then at the same portion of that, you can't dismiss that it's fake.
Right.
So at the same time, I mean, I'm not agreeing that it's actually real, but I'm not.
But you don't want to completely get rid of and dismiss that it's not.
Like what if it's an actual thing? Like what if it's real and it just wants to freak you the fuck out, and it's like, ha ha ha, look at you squirming but can't move. I can sense your pain, kind of thing. But what if it really is?
How'd that go again?
Oh, I'm not gonna do it again. You can always look that up and
like, it's gonna be my noise from now on.
But what? Seriously, what if it's just like not more or less like feeding on it, but what if it thinks it's hilarious? It's like, ha! Look at you! You're like, you can't move, but you can see me. That must be terrifying. Or what if it's like, oh, everyone hates me? Like you can't. It's like, what if? But
I think you're getting way too like you're thinking way too much. It's too real.
But at the point of where everyone's witnessing the same exact figure, at that point it's not a hallucination, or it is a hallucination, but how is it that everyone's seeing
that common?
Yeah, and how is it exactly like how you witnessed it? Exactly how I witnessed it?
Well, I was gonna say, if it's in a situation where it's like mine, where I read up on it first and I had heard about this like demon thing or whatever, that was just black figure with red and squarish eyes. Maybe that's what I saw, because I had read up on it, so that's what my memory and mental capacity and subconscious brought up. But the fact that you didn't read on it is a little strange.
The fact that I didn't know that thing actually like existed until literally right now even terrifies me more. The fact that everyone else witnesses it. The fact that you described it literally point on. I told you I was like 7 foot and you were like 6.5 to 7 foot. I was like, dude, this is exactly how it is. The fact that it had red eyes, dude, you named it.
I nailed it right on the head.
Like, I was gonna tell you, I was like, the eyes aren't not actually.
They're not like human eyes where they're like they have.
I would almost say they're
roundish.
Triangle.
They have like a point on the inside, but then they kind of block out at the outside of it.
That's where it's like, I don't know how, because I definitely cannot see that, and I definitely have never read up on it.
Right.
So I don't know how it's like we are seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
That's quite terrifying.
I mean, that is a little unexplainable and kind of strange, but again, I don't attribute
That's what freaks me out, is how you pinpointed every detail. Like the fact that like it was a tall figure, it was definitely dark, had red eyes, and it wasn't the right eyes, and the fact that it was off
in the distance. What if it was just me in your room?
I don't know. If so, I'd give you props. But the fact that whenever I look back and it's actually gone, whenever I move, is even scarier. Ugh. But
that would have been. Now I kind of want to make that joke.
Oh god.
To somebody. Well, we should probably wrap up. This is gonna be a little shorter of an episode, but we need to wrap up because we've got stuff to do.
Well, we'll see you guys the next episode.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you later.
All right. Bye-bye.